Hi, I'm Nicholas Power with Gesture Press. And if you were watching earlier, we were showing a video from early 90s about Gesture Press. And we've been going strong for 40 years at this point. So welcome to Gesture Press 2021. And I'm going to read from two recent works and one book published in the 80s. This one I wrote during the early months of the pandemic. It's called Ordinary Clothes, a Tao in Time of COVID, and it's based on Lao Tzu's 81 verses, if you want to call them. Meditations is what these are really. I wouldn't call them necessarily poems, but written poetically, and there's 81 of them after Lao Tzu. So this is number 71. Knowing you don't know is the beginning of apprenticeship. The long years of learning without really knowing who you want to be. The journeyman knows that he needs to know more and continues on in his journey, trying to stay on the path. Now, this second work is by Sheila E. Murphy. Pure Mental Breath is the title I gave it. She wrote 81 poems of 18 lines each, and Gesture Press published an earlier version of 18 of her poems in a selection called 18/81. And this is the full book, and it's got some wonderful photographs by Blaine Spiegel, where he's layering photos of dried flowers in his backyard, creating kind of abstract constellations that the poems themselves are made up of in Sheila's wonderful way. And this is number 5. Window language concentrates on process without content. Only handprints exude flavor of uniqueness without penetration. Early phases of a friendship reflect gifts to the other, a mirror property that glass acquires at night, or a transparency that proves sun's texture. Window remains the foremost ceremonial day's feast. A celebration, things protected, as familial loyalty derived from an ongoing view of growth in stages, so all change stays undetected. The frame around reality seems gratitude for access to this world and all its livable mistakes, the quiet terror, life that shows through flavor and charisma and some weather, practicing its transformations to an other world. We go on thinking we've discovered. And I'd like to just finish with the kind of thing that Gesture Press does. We've done some samples of Christina Bailey's work, of Joan Gunther's work, and this is a kind of sampler from a longer manuscript called Wild Uncertainties, as yet unpublished, based on the Fibonacci sequence, starting with one word, adding another word. That makes 2 words, then 3, then 5, and you follow the sequence until you get to this part of the manuscript where it's 377 words in 34 lines, and I'm reading A Wild Uncertainty, number 8. And I'm just reading the excerpt from the last few lines, starting with, writing becomes reading, each form revealing a full sense of the other, yet keeping their own secrets, their signatures, their shared tension, transferring weight and energy in the kinetic intensity of conjugation, an intimate dance, an ecstatic song, happiness a gift, not a project, going beyond each separate self, motile at the boundary, phase transformations, multiple transcriptions, your breath on the surface of the page, the memory of a crystal of snow. Thank you and have a great Meet the Presses.
Hello, and thank you for your interest in Gap Riot Press. Here at Gap Riot, we believe in poetry, and we've been working hard to to deliver that poetry to you. Over the last 5 seasons, Gap Riot has offered readers in Canada and beyond some of the most innovative, synergistic, and community-building poetry from some dynamic women and genderqueers, and yes, even a few men. Gap Riot began years ago in the dreams and discussions under a plethora of mind-altering substances of 2 women who have spent their lives and their careers resisting the dominance of male voices in small press publishing, the notion of poetry as a solitary endeavor, and the tyranny of cosmetic dentistry. This year, Gap Riot has grown bigger and more diverse than ever. Our most recent sales have nearly allowed us to cover the costs of publishing, and we are passing on that wealth to you in the form of more diverse products. This year, we'll be publishing poetry, more poetry, and some things that at first might not look like poetry, but are indeed poems. Thank you for all of your support. We hope you will enjoy poetry from Gap Riot Press.
Hello, my name is James Lindsay. I'm the Sales and Marketing Coordinator at Coach House Books. Today I'm coming to you from our archives, which is located in the same Coach House we were originally founded in 1965. We still print all our own books on the original Heidelberg press that we were founded with by Stan Bevington. We publish fiction, poetry, nonfiction, and drama. And here's a really interesting fun fact about Coach House. We used to print 24 hours a day, and when people would get really tired, we had this sleeping loft for them. They could climb right up this very well-made ladder and have a little nap up there. We just use it for storage these days, but that's where tired printers used to sleep. I'd like to show off a few of our newer titles. This is Ring. It's the final book in the Quincunx series by Andre Alexis, which also includes 15 Dogs, The Hidden Keys, Pastoral, and Days by Moonlight. This is the romance in the series, so it's a magical, realist take on the Harlequin or Daniel Steele. Must for any Andre fan. We also have this very fun book, Ink Earl by Susan Holbrook. It's a book of erasure poems based off the ad copy for the Pink Pearl Erasers. Here's one right here, which is why the book looks like this. So using just that text, Susan has made 100 poems where she erases words and letters to create entirely new pieces. And one of our most popular nonfiction titles of the year, Indigenous Toronto, Stories That Carry This Place. This features many Indigenous contributors from in and around Toronto talking about Toronto's history from pre-settler contact up until the current. It features Indigenous art scenes, archaeology, and culture.
Hello, my name is Jan Westendorp and I'm the owner of Kato Design and Photo, a company which took root in 2012, although I've been working in book design and publishing for over 16 years. Kato Design and Photo was born from a combined passion of books and visual art, particularly from my practices as a visual artist. Working with books, my objective is to honor the writer's text and the reader's experience by creating a seamless and transparent conduit between the words as written and the reader's appreciation of them, broadly speaking. Lisa Ron's equine-themed Wild Horses of the Mind is Kato's submission to this year's BP Nickel Chapbook Award. It explores the events, connections, and demons that defy us during our lives and intersects those challenges with a sense of hope, beauty, and renewal. This limited edition 32-page chapbook is accented with antique engravings, elegant typography, fine papers, and beautiful stitched binding. There's an example of one of the engravings, another engraving, one of the page layout and typography, and the stitched binding. Lisa Ron, a lifelong horsewoman, has been widely published and is the author of 4 poetry chapbooks. She has been nominated for a Pushcart Award and won the 2015 Pandora's Collective Poetry Contest. To find out more, please visit catodesignandphoto.com, our website. Please note that we can neither accept unsolicited manuscripts nor return them. We do, however, welcome inquiries about designing your book in preparation for printing it. It's while working along this path of production that we may discuss publishing it. To wrap up, I deeply appreciate the efforts of Meet the Presses in the promotion and preservation of small presses in Canada, and Kato Design and Photo is honored to take part in this year's competition. Thank you to all the participants and volunteers who keep Meet the Presses alive. Thank you. Bye-bye.